right on top of an old Indian burial ground, home of the biggest party in the sport. Almost 50 years ago, and just a couple months or so, this track was open. You guessed it, we're at the Talladega Super Speedway, and tonight we got the split series for the SimPossible Racing League for you guys tonight. And we're going to be running trucks here, but hope everybody's doing great. I'm Cameron Rich with Carlos Acosta in the production truck, manning those cameras as always. And this is one of my favorite events of the season. It's going to be a great one. I believe we're in qualifying right now. Yes, we are. Actually, no, we're not. Excuse me on that one. But ending up practice here real quick for these guys. And we're going to be going to qualifying in about 30 seconds or so. But either way, Talladega, big 2.66 mile oval. Well known for its big wrecks, it's close racing. These guys are not going to be able to get away from each other all night tonight. It's going to be a pack race through and through. But you know, this is a different style of racing than we do see most weeks. You know, like the short tracks and the 1.5 mile speedways. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting event here. But right now, at the top of the practice boards, which really doesn't mean all that much in the long run, Kevin Pascowicz followed by Chris Roberge, two drivers in the 50.8 second bracket. And of course, those times are all dictated by the draft. So really, when the race happens, practice speeds don't matter, and really neither does qualifying, which we've just began. You have 5 minutes for these drivers to make 2 laps around this track, and really, qualifying is all about pit selection. Really, you know, you can make up places, 10 spots in the span of 1 lap. You know, make or lose spots here. So it's really about where you end up on pit road. So it's going to be a very interesting race to watch. I believe on the track right there, it's the number 4 of Nate Catilla in a new looking paint scheme, that nice orange, black, and white camo, sponsored by, I believe, his company, Roll Film Productions. So you see him right here. Actually, good thing we have an on board for this shot. You see him running right up next to that wall, and he's going to duck right down here on the trial. This is the line that these drivers run for qualifying. You want to keep that truck wound up all the way around that top side of the racetrack and just get as much momentum as you can, and duck right down to the bottom side for that second lap, that money lap. I believe Nate's...
This is his first, this second lap now. Or his first time.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for you to give me a chance for me to talk, but hey, how you guys doing? I'm also Carlos. I think Cam didn't get the memo that this was a 2-man show.
Oh yeah, I definitely did. So you just came in here with pizza, and we're gonna go ahead and eat it while we broadcast.
Yeah. Well, once again, welcome to SimPossible Racing League. We do have a couple pretty strange things now that we're at Talladega. From hearing the drivers commentate about how it's going, we may have tandems coming back. We may see some tandems here in this race. Other couple note things is that next season we may switch to either 2 or 1 fast repairs for the league now that it's evolving and growing something better. So it's a couple things to note. I would be okay seeing some tandems, but whenever these drivers get close, it's always something you have to worry about pushing and not spinning another driver out. Is very common with these truck races, and how quick they draft up to the other bumpers.
And here we see Nate Catilla using that bottom side to his advantage. There's Tanner Sharp on the clock right now. So
I always zip to you. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. But if you guys can look at the lap times right now, you see Nate Catilla ran a 56.1, and then Tanner is at a 56.191. So that's just a product of them running that high side around this racetrack, and these next laps are going to be a lot quicker than those laps right now, provided that something doesn't happen, which really, in all essence, it shouldn't. But Tanner Sharp in a new truck for this week, a
temporary scheme
sponsored by Monster. It's a temporary scheme. I guess he's going to probably get a new one once it's painted on the new Silverado, which just came out a few weeks ago.
It's very strange to see Tanner in a Coke-sponsored car when he's typically a Mountain Dew-sponsored car.
We'll see where these drivers go. Nate Catilla goes 55.3, and Tanner Sharp right up to the top of the board with 55.302. So 8 1,000ths quicker than second place. Currently Kevin Pascowicz in that number 7 machine. Here's Fernando Matos in that interestingly colored car. Actually, that's a he's in the wall, so I guess he just didn't want to qualify or whatever. But that's a car from NASCAR Racing 1, I believe. We can go back to Fernando's car. That's a very nostalgic looking car. Very cool to see that, and whoever painted that, I have to give them props for actually knowing that. They're an old school guy. You got to know that.
1996, it says on the back.
Yeah, sponsored by NASCAR Racing. So yeah, definitely is NASCAR Racing 1. So very cool to see that. Very old school, nostalgic truck right there. There's Kevin Pasquich rolling around the apron. So he's obviously already completed his qualifying run. I'm a very big fan of that truck because purple is my favorite color, and that truck is mostly purple. So good to see those purple wheels on it as well. Nice touch there. We got 30 seconds left in qualifying.
Yeah, not so many drivers have decided to post a lap time. Only 8 drivers posted a lap time. Fernando Matos being currently the slowest one at 56.02, which tells me he only ran a one-time lap. But yeah, pretty much half the field has not qualified, it seems.
And we got 5 seconds before we end qualifying, so let's go ahead and go over the points real quick before the end of this race. This is the halfway point in the season, race number 5 of 10, so go ahead and get the points up. Kyle Zimmer is your leader. He just got in the field. I had some connection issues, but thankfully got in. And 7 markers back is number 7 of Kevin Pasquich, followed by Billy Wise, a further 6 back from him. Alan Capers in 4th, Brian Lowehead 5th, Fernando Matos 6th, Nick Hill 7th, Johnny Berardi 8th, AJ Digby 9th, and Chris Roberge in 10th. And we're going to go ahead and get your grid situated up here real quick while these drivers pop their cars on the track. You see them appearing there. And pole sitter tonight, Tanner Sharp, the number 3 car, is on a roll in SimPossible, has a few wins to his credit so far. And Kevin Pasquich, like I said, going to start in 2nd place in that number 7, Carlos.
Yeah, in 3rd place we have Chris Roberge in the 98 truck with Billy Wise qualifying in 4th.
Nick Tillett, number 4 machine, that really nice looking paint scheme, love it, love it, love it, in 5th place. And to his outside, Thomas Wise in number 1.
On road number 4, we have Johnny Berardi in 99 with Fernando Matos in the 17th. Oh, and
we'll just go through the We'll just go through the rest of the grid since the last half of the field decided not to qualify. Tom Johnson's going to be starting 9th. Kyle Zimmer, your points leader, in 10th. AJ Digby in 11th. Alan Capers 12th. Travis Zudema 13th. Matthew Lesniewski in the 24 car 14th. And the perennial shotgun qualifier himself, Brian Lowehead, going to be starting 15th place. And that concludes your grid for tonight's event. And Carlos, I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I love trucks at Talladega. It's always crazy.
I always have a good time at the Trucks at Talladega. I also tend to have a wreckful time at the Trucks at Talladega. I don't know what it is about me and the trucks and Talladega, but I always just end up causing a couple drivers to wreck. Not always my fault, but these trucks, they punch such a hole in the air that just giving a light bump to somebody is more than enough to turn them around, especially exiting the corner. But I always have a blast. It's a very fun place to drive at. And, as much as I don't like restriction plate races, even though I'm very decent with them, this one is fun to drive.
Absolutely, and really, I have to say myself, a lot of people say that restrictor plate racing does not require talent. I have to disagree. I think it just requires a different skill set than normal, and definitely it is true that you are at the mercy of everyone else more so than other tracks where really you wouldn't be. But either way, there is a certain finesse to this type of racing that definitely it should not be overstated.
I somehow appear to have opened 2 cans of Arizona tea, and I don't know why I have 2 of them opened, and they're both full. But I guess I have 2 cans of Arizona iced tea for me to enjoy in this broadcast. Speaking of enjoying the broadcast, we have a dedicated fan, GOM1600 in the chat. Hey, I hope you are doing good, and I hope you enjoy the race. And yeah, hopefully this is not a night pacing race, but let's just enjoy the race either way, as we have 1 to go, and the pace car is in turn 3 right now. Interesting that SimPossible always chooses to go with the rough, or that might be the Porsche now, pace car as opposed to the other one.
Yeah, that is a rough, and there seems to be a little bit of a graphical glitch, at least on my end. I don't think it shows up on the broadcast, but the wheels on that rough are glowing, so I'm not sure if we got a new radioactive...
That is a graphical glitch. I believe that has to do with the new shaders. There's something that was edited.
Yeah, so I think we have the new radioactive tire model for the pace car. But either way, that pace car is going to pull off, and we have a couple hundred yards from this point to where we're going to get the green flag. So these drivers have a couple seconds to kind of contemplate their first moves of the race, what's going to happen down in turn 1, and definitely there's a lot going through all of these drivers' minds right now. And for the next, I believe, 50 laps, it's going to be a crazy race. Green flag is out. Looks like the outside line gets a pretty good restart. The number 7 did beat the number 3 to the line. So Kevin Pasquin, currently your leader right now, has a good push from behind from Billy Wise in that 32. We're looking from his rear end camera right now. Here comes Tanner Sharp back on the inside. He's got a push from 98 of Christopher Burrs. We saw him win a restrictor plate race, early on in the season, so we know he knows what he's doing. But look at that top side. Those two trucks already hooked up, looking like a tandem. It looks like Nate Catilla deciding to duck out of the field right now and probably just move himself to the back, try to get out of the trouble spots that could be happening. Good long game move right there. But Tanner Sharp ducks out of line from the number 98 for Spurs. He's going to go up to the 7 and push him. We're already seeing these trucks hook up a little bit. You see you have 3 trucks on the bottom. That's Billy Wise, Christopher Burridge, Alan Capers, and you have Kevin Pasquich and Tanner Sharp on that outside line. Ooh, trouble!
No!
I think we just saw right what you said right there, Carlos. Just a bumper hook, and it's like Billy Wise got the worst end of that. He's flipping around on pit road. Yeah, so he's gonna have to take a tow. Hopefully that they can tow that thing back to pits without losing a lap. But in the replay, see what happened.
I
think it was just a classic Talladega bumper hook.
Yeah.
What a crazy wreck. Number 32 is absolutely destroyed.
Time for the gyro cam to get its money.
Yeah, this would be a crazy onboard look right here. It's just nothing he can do. He got hooked from behind, and that car was just out of control right there. And dear God, that was a violent accident. Good thing that this is iRacing and not real life, because that probably would have hurt a little bit in real life.
So let's see if we can try to take a look at just exactly what happened.
Actually, I don't think the bumper hook there. That angle that we just saw was a little bit more telling. I think there was contact from the 98 of Christopher Burge that actually sent that car out of control. I think 32 just kind of, or not 32. Yeah. That was the 7.
It seems like the 98 went up just a little bit around the same time the 7 went down. The contact resulted in the 32 getting turned. So it's a shame.
I'm not completely sure, but it looks like the 7 got a blown motor too, because he's crawling back to pit road at about 35 miles an hour.
And he might be getting some help from the 24, who also has the engine damage.
Yeah, I didn't see Lesniewski involved in the wreck. He must have been a late addition to it, but either way, good to see these two drivers kind of helping each other back to the pits. Lesniewski with that blown motor of himself, spitting smoke everywhere and spraying for mosquitoes. But either way, both drivers will be fine not to take a tow, because a tow here takes forever because it's such a big track. If you are unfortunate enough to get stuck on that backstretch, you're going to be towing for about 5 minutes.
Wow, that wind is really strong. You can see the smoke get carried as soon as it leaves the car.
Yeah, let's go and look at the wind or the weather real quick.
It's going 9
miles
per hour. East, but 9 miles per hour. There we go. It just the way it's written in there made me seem like it was 9 degrees east, but that just did not. I did not want to say that because that was just wrong. But I couldn't figure out the correct way of saying it. But yeah, it's 9 miles an hour going east.
And the ambient conditions, partly cloudy, 76 degrees, track at 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity 40%, 29 inches of mercury and rising. So pretty good day to race here. And really track conditions don't really matter at this track, because the truck isn't going to handle too much different from conditions to conditions. But either way, it is something to look at, and Weatherman Cam has you covered.
On the bright side, because Talladega is such a big track, Billy Wise is already back on track and he only lost 1 lap. He did spend about 2 minutes and 29 seconds in pit road, only finding himself 1 lap down though, so that's good for him. We see Aaron Capers going down pit road, and he's elected not to take a fast repair because he does still have some front end damage. But at this point, or very, very early on, there's more than likely to be another wreck here at this track, as history has proven us.
Absolutely. So good on him to save those fast repairs, and definitely we saw at the B car race early on at Daytona, there was quite a bit of carnage there, and a lot of drivers actually ran out of fast repairs really halfway through the race or so. So if you can save them as long as you can, definitely I would say be a good little strategy call right there. But either way, currently your leader, the 98, Christopher Burrs, the winner of that race in question, and Tanner Sharp, your pole sitter, back to 2nd place. But either way, not too big of a jump. Your current driver who has gained the most positions is the number 66 of Brian Lowhead. Like we said, started shotgun on the field. He's your 4th car in line right there. Has a bit of damage on his truck. I'm not sure where that came from, but the right side definitely scuffed up quite a bit. I don't think that will hurt him too incredibly much as long as he stays in the draft. But if he gets out front, that might be a bit of an issue, but we will definitely see. Pace car light's still on, so we're going to be pacing for at least 5 more minutes here or so.
Yeah, these laps are huge. They're good. They're good for when you get involved in an incident and you have some damage to repair, but also at the same time, the track is so huge that if you do have damage to repair, there's a good chance it's never going to be the same again. It's such an unfair thing. You go to a track like Martinsville, Bristol, Dover, small compared to Talladega, small tracks that you get involved in an accident and you don't necessarily need all the downforce. You just need the engine and a couple of mechanical stuff to be fixed. But you can't spend more than 20-30 seconds in there before you get lapped. And most of that is spent going down your stall. And then you come to a racetrack like this where you have more than enough time to get all the damage repaired. But just having damage costs you just a lot of speed, and in some cases it doesn't help at all. So it's such an unfair balance that the real world has provided to us when it comes to length of a lap and damage to fix. That it makes you want to pull your hair out sometimes.
I think racing does that in general, makes you want to pull your hair out. Definitely a very unfair sport. But I want to go ahead and, I know I brought this up in qualifying, but I want to go ahead and say this again. If you're wondering why some of the trucks look different, particularly the Chevys, because this is the SimPossible debut of the new Silverado, which was released just a few days ago, about a week ago actually, but last week we had the K&N cars, so we did not get to see them. But it's a pretty good looking truck right there. I like the new Silverado, pretty good design on the front end, and I do like the cockpit of those.
I do apologize for those squeaking noises if you do hear it. I am in charge of taking care of the family dog, and she likes playing with her chew toys. So, 1 to green. We ran about a lap and a half under green before the caution came out. One thing we did notice was that the outside line was able to get the lead from the pole sitter, and I believe Chris Roberts, who is leading the race right now, has a stay on the inside. So we'll see if that high line gets an advantage again, or maybe if it was just a fluke.
And I believe in lieu of the kazoos, maybe we can get the chew toy, maybe for the end of the race, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. There you go. Yep. Got the chew toy ready to go, but looks like about half the field is single file, so a bit of EOLs here on a few cars not caught up to the field just yet, but a few EOLs here. For those of you who don't know iRacing lingo, that's end of the line penalty. That's just what you get if you pit too early or you speed on pit road. So not really too big of a deal, especially here at Talladega. Really, it's no big deal here at all. But let's go ahead and reset the field for you real quick. Get to be the top 10 before we go green here in about a minute or so. Christopher is your leader. Tanner Sharp in second. Thomas Wise up to third from his sixth position, starting position. Brian Lowhead up to fourth from starting shotgun on the field. Travis Zudema in fifth. Kyle Zimmer sixth, your points leader. 7th, Tom Johnson. 8th, Alan Capers. I don't know if he's killed any cones yet so far. Johnny Berardi up to 9th, and Fernando Matos in that NASCAR Racing 1 paint scheme. Love it so much. He is in 10th. So we'll be going green here pretty soon. Can't wait to see some green flag racing. These cautions are unbearably long, and hopefully we can get a pretty green race tonight. And then you see the pace car. See that pace car pulling off right there with its glowing wheels, and it's gonna pull into the pits. We'll have the waiting period until we get the green flag here. This very famous Talladega tri-oval where the start-finish line is down here on the other end of the speedway. If you ever watch a race here, they'll talk about that all day long, and it kind of gets annoying after a while. But either way, it is a thing. So green flag looks to be out. You see that flag man right there at the bottom of your screen. Going to be throwing that flag. That's also a new addition to iRacing. It's very cool. But there, that top side gets a pretty good restart. But I believe that Chris Verge did get a jump on that bottom line. So we'll see how or what line can get hooked up. It looks like that bottom line is very hooked up right now. Chris Verge, Thomas Wise, and Travis Zudema all together very well. It's a game of numbers here at Talladega. You have 5 cars on the bottom side and 3 on the top. You see it right there. That top side has absolutely destroyed itself, lost all of its momentum. So Tanner Sharp almost in the sucker hole, 3 wide there, but it was able to stay out of it. But here we see Thomas Wise going for the lead. He's on that outside line, has to push from Tanner Sharp, but Travis Zudema up to the 2nd position. A very good run up towards that number 98 of Chris Verge. He's pushing him, and that top side looks to be falling back just a bit right now.
Yeah, with the lack of race cars following on the outside line, it's going to be very hard for anybody to make room unless they start side drafting. But everybody here who has raced with Tanner Sharp knows that he is not a man who enjoys to side draft very, very early on. He is very aggressive when it comes to driving in general, but he does not like side drafting at the very early part of the race. So you're not going to be seeing that from until after close to halfway. So just 2 trucks on the outside, and now they finally get some more help. Now with the 5 trucks, they may actually have a chance, especially now that they've broken up the inside line. We see 56 of Tom Johnson getting a huge run, and they're about to get side by side 2nd place. Not this time, but maybe on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, and you have about 5 cars up on that outside line, and really only the 2 up at the front, but those 2 up the front are very close together, pushing very well. Travis Zudema doing a good job pushing that number 98 of Chris Verge, and there is about a few car lengths gap back to the 13 of Alan Capers, who has Kevin Pasquich behind him. So really, if you're Travis Zudema, Carlos, are you content with pushing that 98, or do you want to try to get that lead for yourself?
As a person who is not very aggressive, I'm fairly content pushing the 90. For me, I'd rather get everybody settled and get out of any hairy situations than risk getting involved in a wreck, especially at Talladega. So I would be fine staying behind, but I don't know if Travis would be fine just staying behind, or if he wants to get that lead, because right now the happiest truck right now is the 98 of Chris Verge.
Absolutely, there's nothing better than seeing a clear racetrack out in front, and Travis Zudema doing a very good job of pushing him right now. You see Tanner Sharp has fallen all the way back to about the 9th position or so, and it's because that line he was on, the outside line, kind of dissipated, and really you see most trucks on the bottom of the racetrack right now. It looks like most of the field decided they're just going to be content with riding this one out. Lap 9 of 50, so really no harm in going, or no harm in just waiting right now. But Travis Zudema, as I say that, he's not going to wait. He's getting a push from the number 7 of Kevin Pasquich, and he also has Tom Johnson and Thomas Wise right behind him. We'll see how well they can get on. Ooh, big trouble in the back.
Caution.
Big trouble for a few cars.
32
see Billy Wise involved in another thing, so that's going to harm his chances at getting a lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, and I saw Thomas Wise involved as well. We'll have to see what happened here on the replay. Looks like Thomas Wise just got hooked from somebody. I wasn't able to see who hooked him.
I saw the 32 and the 1 made contact, but what led the 32 to making contact with the 1? Let's go see if we can get another look from it.
Yeah, good shot up here from the blimp view.
Oh! It seemed like the 1 came down, made contact with the 32, and either made contact or it was netcode that resulted in the 32 moving back up. Let's see if we can get yet another view out of this. Here we go. Oh, that was neck code.
Yeah,
classic
look at the
neck code.
there.
And that's a shame too.
And if you're Billy Wise, not only are you still stuck a lap down, but that also is going to. That's 2 of your fast fares gone right now. You only have 2 more for 40 more laps of racing. So really, he's going to have to do everything he can to try to save the rest of those for the last part of this race.
That's quite a bit of damage too. It looks like he's either backing out or he has elected to get a tow. He just stopped in the middle of pit road. I wouldn't know why he would unless his engine blew. But there was no signs of his engine blowing there at the time. We currently have 2 other drivers in pit road. That's Thomas Wise and AJ Digby. Thomas Wise is already leaving. AJ Digby is still in pit road, and looks like he's getting some damage repaired.
Yeah, and he's currently pulling away right now, and see a couple of trucks electing to pull down pit road, led by Travis Zudema and followed by the number 7 of Kevin Pasquich, as well as Tanner Sharp and a few others. But Carlos, I want to ask you, really, this is a track where tires are not that important, but if you're going to come down pit road and take fuel, you're pretty well off taking at least 2 tires, because that time it takes to fuel up the truck really allows you to take at least 2 and not lose any any time on the rest of the field.
Yeah, I would agree. I would be fairly okay with that. But also at the same time, it really doesn't matter. Only one or 2 times have I ever noticed the tires actually mattered here in iRacing, and both were with the Cup cars, right about the time when the Cup package really started doing horrible for the plate races.
That definitely was a time in the iRacing date world I would like to forget. But maybe not, because I actually was pretty good with that package for whatever reason, and you see the cone has been murdered by Christopher Burge, actually dragged it along his splitter for a bit and finally kicked it off to the left side. So we'll have to see how many cones we're able to get tonight, but definitely one has been already brutally murdered.
So we have completed 10 laps, currently on lap 11 right now. From what we're seeing in these about 5 lap runs that we had, who do you think is in a good position to possibly have a good night here tonight? Not that it really matters here at a track like Talladega, but who's showing you that they might have something?
Well, obviously, I think right now, obviously the best position to be in is the lead, and Christopher Burge is there, and we've seen him succeed on these plate tracks before. He's a very good restricted plate driver. Does not have a teammate out here tonight. His teammate Dave Wilson not in the field, but he's a very, I would say, low-key aggressive racer himself. He knows how to make the moves, but will not do something over his head usually. So I think he's going to be very tough to beat tonight. But also that number 3 of Tanner Sharp, of course, started on the pole. He knows what he's doing. I've raced with him before on plate tracks, and he definitely is a good pusher and a good leader. And by that I mean a good pusher and somebody who is able to be pushed very aggressively without losing control or really making a move that won't work. So I think those 2 drivers are probably going to be the ones to look out for tonight the most. But also at the same time, it is Talladega, and really anyone in this field can win the race provided they're on the lead lap. And we'll have to see if we have a late caution, because we might see a green white checkered here at Talladega, and those really are always incredibly crazy. We've already had a couple of those on 3Wide TV so far, showing off a new feature in iRacing. Oh, okay, just one from the Can-Am race that won last week, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that was also last week. So far, we have not had an update yet, so there are no updates regarding any updates with ATVO. So for the time being, as Adam Capers kills yet another cone, if we do have a green white checkered, it does break our timing and scoring.
It's good old-fashioned iRacing updates that break everything. Gotta love it.
So it should be about yet another 5 minutes before we do go back to being green. Hopefully we don't have too many cautions.
And I had a bad joke in my head, Carlos, from something you said earlier.
Say
You
it
said
anyway.
you want to keep yourself out of hairy situations. Well, we do have products for that called razors.
You probably should have kept that one to yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the booth right now and never come back. That was bad, and I feel bad. All right, well we're going to pace for just a few more laps here, I believe. Probably at least 2 more, provided we have 1 lap down car in Billy Wise, who's actually 2 laps down. Had to take another tow, like we said earlier, but if he can keep himself out of those incidents, he can get himself back on the lead lap with a couple more cautions. But of course, not starting the night off on the right foot, you definitely don't want to have to put yourself in that kind of a spot where you need those lucky dogs to kind of survive. So definitely not the way you wanted to start, but either way, we do have plenty of laps to go. About 38 to go this time by coming to 37, so quite a bit of time for him to make up any lost time that he has lost on the racetrack right now. Looks like the pace car lights are off now, so we'll be going back racing here in about 2 minutes or so, 1.5 minutes probably at the most. That is definitely good to see. But a quick rundown of top 10. Once again, Christopher is your leader, followed by Alan Capers. Matthew Lesniewski in 3rd, Johnny Brody 4th, Kevin Paskowicz 5th, Kyle Zimmer 6th, Travis Zudema in 7th, 8th is Tom Johnson, Brian Lowhead in 9th, and Fernando Matos, who was 10th the last rundown, and he's currently still 10th. Probably just kind of hanging back in that number 17 car, truck, whatever it is. You see another cone get killed and actually booted up onto the racetrack. So all those drivers are going to have to avoid that because they don't want that cone stuck on their splitter because it will affect the handling. I know that firsthand. A couple drivers having a bit of rear end damage on their trucks right now. Johnny Brody and Nate Catilla, a bit of rear end damage on both trucks. But probably not going to take a fast spare for that because the rear end does not matter here too incredibly much. You can have that rear end beat to hell and it'll still drive just fine. Pace car getting ready to pull off down pit road. We're going to be going green here in just a moment as soon as we cross this tri-oval. Followed or led up to the green by Christopher, who has led the most laps of the race so far. He took the lead on lap 2 or so and has not relinquished it since. And Alan Capers on the outside line, going to see if he can lead some laps and challenge for that top position. Johnny Brody and Matthew Lesniewski, 2 newcomers to the top 5 from the last position. Looks like the 99 did not get that great of a restart. But that bottom side, very good, led by Christopher and followed by Lesniewski, Paskowicz, and Zudema. Zudema electing to go on the outside, a power move around Paskowicz. He's going to try to get some momentum up on the high side, but he doesn't have anyone to help him, so I'm not sure how far he's going to get, but that bottom side very well orchestrated right now. But Zudema doing a good job by himself on the outside line. He's currently up to the 3rd position, and Kevin Paskowicz elects to cut Lesniewski on that bottom side and go with Zudema. I think Zudema's got a pretty good run here through turns 3 and 4 on the outside line. That it's a very good push from behind from the number 7 trucks. And we'll see if they can challenge for the lead. I believe they will because they have a lot of momentum.
I'm not sure that momentum might be enough right now. It's still, once again, just 2 trucks on the outside compared to about 4 trucks on the inside. However, the 4 trucks on the inside aren't exactly together like they want to. So this is actually helping the 90 right now as they are side by side going into 1.
And a newcomer on the outside line is number 25, Kyle Zimmer, your points leader. Doing a good job to push that outside group, but you see right there they lost a bit of momentum So it is a game of back and forth here at Talladega. That outside line typically is a little bit slower in the corners, but on the straightaways, you see right there, look how much faster they are than that bottom side. So I think they might have the run going into the 3 here, might be able to do something as, the 13 of Alan Keeper's got a little bit loose behind the 98. Saw him wiggle around just a bit, but has pushed himself right onto the rear spoiler of that Chris Roberge machine. So I think it's going to be a tall order for that outside line right now to get the momentum they need to make a move on that bottom side.
Right now it's currently these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks. Then there's a small breakaway until we get to about Tom Johnson, Brian Lowhead and Thomas Wise. However, somebody who's dropped back is Tanner Sharp. I don't know if this is by design or if he's just having some issues and he had to drop back, but he is hanging back there for right now as the second group that we were talking about has decided to merge in the first group to create about 9 trucks in here that we are seeing going, 10 trucks that we're seeing going side by side as they elect to go, pretty much almost split evens between high and low. Still, once again, the advantage is on the inside line. I don't know if that was just me, but the 7 kind of got loose there.
And one thing you do see at this track a lot is, if you notice, all these trucks are moving around a lot. That's not the drivers moving the wheel around. It's just the air. There's so much air getting flung around by these big trucks that it really moves these trucks around a lot. I think you brought it up in practice a little bit, Carlos, but these trucks do punch an incredibly large hole in the air, and there is a lot of buffeting that goes around. You can really feel that when you're in the... Oh, we have some 3 wide in the back. Tanner Sharp, I think right when you said that he was hanging back, he's decided no more to that. He actually almost went 3 wide, but thought better of it, pulled in behind Kyle Zimmer. And those two drivers do tend to work well together a lot. But here we have a battle for the lead. Matthew Lesniewski pushed by Travis Zudema. A bit of an awkward bump there, but Lesniewski is probably going to have the run down the backstretch. Yes, he is. And for the moment, he is your leader. Or excuse me, that is out of turn 4. My bad. Have my look at the middle right there. Tanner Sharp actually decided to go into that sucker hole. Look at that run he has. He went from about 9th position up to, I believe that's 5th in the span of about 100 feet.
Well, we're seeing a 24 up front and the tree in the 3 making its way up to traffic. Is wow. My English is my second language, so I had some difficulty pronouncing those words. But it seems like Crafts and NASCAR, the 24 leading and the tree making its way through traffic.
Yeah, and Tanner Sharp is doing a good job to pin that 98 down on the bottom. Ooh, Zudema in the wall. You see those new sparks being flown. Ooh.
That's a caution. 32 again. Oh, man. That's another blown engine for the 32. It's just not his day.
Yeah, and that truck was on its lid once again, so I think that truck has been upside down quite a few times tonight. It's definitely not something that he's going to want. He's just going to stop it at the end of pit road, and he might just call it a night after that because it looks like that luck is not going anywhere for him. But also involved 6.6 of Brian Lowhead with a bit of damage. The 90 of Zudema has a bit of damage. I believe that Kyle Zimmer was in as well. Here's the gyro cam.
Once again,
this might be from Billy Wise.
Third wreck in a row, all 3 wrecks. Nothing to do with him. He just ended up getting involved. The deafening silence there is for sure indicator that the engine did die. I initially thought that the incident happened because of what happened with the 7. I saw the 7 going down in the apron, entering the corner, and I went to look to put a camera on him, but nothing actually happened. What happened was with the 90. If you can take a look at just exactly what happened, was right at the 24, and then I guess he just went up high and the 25 made contact with a driver I was unable to see. Oh, the 66 also flipped around. Let's go and see if we can get a camera on him. See what the gyro cam can do 2 for 1 here tonight in this caution. Oh, that's a slow flip too.
He's actually the car that pitched the 32 into that head-on hit that ended up in him flipping around too. So really, those 2 trucks, those new Chevys are getting a workout tonight with the roof and whatever. But Brian Lowhead was able to drive away, and unfortunately, Billy Wise not able to drive away. A lot of action on pit road here. Looks like most of the leaders electing to come down. Tom Johnson and Tanner Sharp staying out. Tom Johnson has a little bit of damage on that right front fender as well as the left front as well. So we'll see how that affects him being out front. Maybe he's staying out just to lead a lap or whatever, because he is in the points hunt, I believe, in 10th position or so. Trying to claw back a few. Looks like Alan Caper is the first truck off pit road. Excuse me, no, that's wrong because it's Christopher Burge. Christopher Burge actually has a bit of right front damage. I'm not sure where that came from, but I don't think it's affecting him too much. Obviously, he was out front most of this event right now, and is going to be as far back as he has been all day now that he's coming up pit road, with a few trucks electing to stay out. Those trucks that did stay out were the number 4 of Nate Catilla, 17 of Fernando Matos, 7 of Kevin Paskovich, 3 of Tanner Sharp, and the aforementioned 56 of Tom Johnson. So we'll see how that goes for all those drivers. I don't think fuel is going to be too much of an issue tonight. We are running 60% tanks here at Talladega, which is about, I believe, 60% of the already reduced fuel capacity for these trucks. So it'll be definitely something to watch out for. I think that will probably necessitate pit stops every 20 laps, or maybe even a little bit less. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But either way, those drivers electing to stay out for the time being. And Billy Wise out of pit road. He's gotten his car repaired up, and already 3 fast repairs into this event and 3 laps down. So definitely not the way he's wanting to go. Definitely not off on the right foot. But you know, if luck can go his way, if he can stay out of wrecks, maybe get a couple more cautions, he definitely can be in this thing. Just needs to be incredibly cautious in saving what he has left of his truck. And I believe looks like we have more activity on pit road. 56 of Tom Johnson electing to come down, as well as Brian Lowhead, who no, he's not a lap down. Matthew Wisniewski. Alan Caper's coming down once again. So definitely, I think fuel is a concern for some of these guys. We see a lot of double pitting under these cautions. A couple drivers electing to come down. The first lap pit road opens, as well as the last lap that is open. So I think what I said about the pit road is definitely coming to fruition. Pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going green. This time by going to be led to the green by Tanner Sharp and Fernando Matos to his outside. Number 17 truck is not one that has been up very far to the front so far in this event, but probably doing a job of just saving that truck, and definitely has gotten himself up to the front through some pit strategy. So we'll see if he can hold his position up there, or if he decides to maybe lay back a little bit and fall back and to save those fast repairs for later on in the event. But a lot of trucks electing to come down pit road. As I already said, probably fuel is going to be a concern tonight, definitely with the reduced capacity of the super speedway tanks and the 60% fuel already ran by SimPossible in the Monday series. I think I might have been a little bit overzealous on what I said. We might be only looking at about 15 laps on fuel or so, but I'll definitely have to see if I can queue up a driver if we get another caution and ask them how many laps we can go, because that is something that I am very curious about. But either way, we are doubled up. Most of the field elected to come down pit road again, and they are all at the tail end of the field, lined up single file on that bottom side. So about 3 rows of double file here up at the front, maybe 4, and the rest of the field single file behind those. So we'll have to wait and see how this restart goes, but hope we can get some more green flag racing. About the 28 laps to go or so here at Talladega. So we are working our way towards halfway, which we'll reach in about 3 laps time or so. Coming through turn number 4 here. Waiting for that pace car to make its move onto pit road, which it is right now. So going to be going green here in just a few moments or so, led by Tanner Sharp, who was your pole sitter tonight, as we've already said. So back up where he started this race, and definitely where he wants to stay for the remainder. We'll see how that works, but he has Christopher Burge right behind him, who has been the dominant truck of the night so far. Bit of a see only about 3 cars on the outside line, and green flag is out. See, Fernando Matos already getting a push from behind by the 25 of Zimmer, but Tanner Sharp getting a push from behind by Christopher Burge, and those 2 trucks are really the only trucks that are hooked up right now. Most of the field in the back is a little bit disjointed. That number 1 of Thomas Wise is right behind these top 4, so he is the benefactor of the 2 trucks, or the 2 groups in front of him. But like you said, Carlos, welcome back once again.
Sorry. I have been having some small issues here with the stream, just making sure it all gets fixed before it gets even worse. Hopefully it has not
trouble
been
almost. Number 17 of Matos got really wiggly, got a bad bump from behind from Zimmer, and did a good job saving that truck. That could have been a huge accident. But all is well. That truck was very sideways through turn number 3, but he did a good job gathering it back up. So we have a big pack in the back, and then that second pack led by Johnny Berardi at 99 with a cluster right behind him. That is the whole field right there, just about. And really, this is something you would see back in 2011 era NASCAR, where you'd have a huge pack and then a couple tandems up at the front. But we have another tandem forming up right there. 13 of Alan Capers with Zudema behind him. See Capers and Zudema there getting a push to get out of that pack. So I think you were very correct in saying that there was going to be tandems tonight, Carlos, because look at that run that 13 and 90 are getting. We're on board with Zudema right now, and they are definitely catching that little pack ahead of them.
Now that we're seeing some tandems going on, now we have to change a couple questions that we have. 1, are you okay being the pusher? Being the pusher means that you are going to give up all of the chances you had of winning the race so you can push somebody else to the victory. Now, this really, really is going to affect the 98 of Christopher Burge, because as we mentioned, he has no teammates. He has nobody that will 100% back him up in this race. He is by himself, all alone. What would you do in this type of situation? We're just seeing him blocking. Top 13 is a pusher now, but these sort of questions are something you're going to have in the back of your mind.
Yeah, obviously you want to be the benefactor of that push always as a driver. You just want to, you don't want to have to kind of sacrifice your own race for the will of someone else. But I mean, it is Talladega. That kind of is the whole point of the race, really, from the beginning. And as we were saying that, the 98 Verge was able to get himself back to the lead. So very strong truck for that 98 tonight. He's definitely shown that he can get himself up to the lead and really stay there. Really the only truck that has been able to stay there for multiple laps at a time. So I think everybody maybe just content with pushing him. Maybe he's just doing the moves. Ooh, some trouble there for Alan Capers. He got shoved onto the apron, had to back out of it a little bit, and now we're 3 wide down the backstretch just about. But good for Zudema there, letting Capers back into line, because that could have been a bad situation there. But that did allow a lot of the field to come back up. You see there in the back a little bit, AJ Digby, somebody we've not talked about all night tonight, has probably just knowing the way his luck has been in racing, probably just doing a good job to kind of keep that car out of trouble. And we saw him back off a little bit, saw some backfire out of the exhaust. It's a telltale sign that he was off the throttle. But we have 3 trucks on the top side, 4 on the, or 4 or 5 or 6, however you want to call that, on the bottom side right now. So the bottom definitely the way to go for the time being.
We also saw that whole last lap, Tanner Sharp, pretty much from this point on, just dropping from first to second to third to fourth to fifth, all the way down to where he's at right now in 11th place. Because I got the hiccups there. Drops so many positions,
the last car in the pack right now, and behind him, about 5 seconds behind, is Thomas Wise and Johnny Berardi, and Nate Catilla is actually 20 seconds behind the pack. So I'm not sure if something happened to him, or if he's just deciding to kind of make sure he stays out of trouble at all costs, because there's not any damage on that truck that I can see that would affect him. But he is up to pace, so I think he is just doing what we said of staying out of trouble. Looks like the dynamic duo right now is that number 98 of Chris Berge and Alan Capers in the 13 right behind him. Those two have been hooked up for a few laps right now, and they are doing a good job of holding everyone off. But Fernando Matos right behind Capers probably wants to do something about that, and he's got a tandem up that's forming up right on his outside of Zudema and Zimmer. We'll see if those two Z drivers can do something about that. But actually, ooh, trouble! 25 in the wall hard. That's going to really hurt that truck, but no caution out yet. I don't think that's going to be one.
Yeah,
that truck is absolutely broken right now.
We're also just past halfway, so we go back and take a look and see exactly what happened. I was caught in the middle of drinking my Arizona iced tea that I did not see just what happened. I see he made contact with the 90. We're going to need another visual on that, preferably an onboard, and just seeing if the 90 went up or if he tried to make a pass or just what happens. Oh, netcode strikes again. Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, that was some big boy netcode right there. I didn't even believe it. But at the front of the field, we have a new first place driver for at least the time being. I don't think it's going to happen at the line, but Zudem was able to get around Chris Berge, and once again, those two trucks, the 98 and the 13, hooked up once again, doing a very good job of pushing. We actually had a swap of partners there for a minute. Alan Capers was with the 90 of Zudema, and Fernando Matos was with Chris Berge. They swapped once again, and look, you saw the 98 was able to get himself back up to the lead. So it's going to be a tough challenge beating that 98 tonight. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there.
And Sharp is doing his best to get himself back up in a position where he can contend again, finding himself up in fourth. Yeah, that's right, fourth, because 32 is multiple laps down. 32 has been a victim of some very, very unfortunate events this race. Every precaution that has come out, he has been involved in, and none of them, I believe, has been his fault. At least the last two have been his fault. I honestly, at this point, cannot remember exactly what happened in the first caution. But it's just been a real shame what's happening to Billy Wise here tonight. It's a beautiful race truck too. It's designed, and a lot of promotion for this scheme going into this race, and just to see it going at the moment, very in last 3 laps down, it's just a shame, because Billy Wise is not a person to finish multiple laps down.
But at the other end of the kind of depresso-meter, I'm not sure how to put that, but if you're Billy Wise, you're 3 laps down right now, and you see the 2 leading trucks in front of you. If you can get in front of them and get a caution, get the lucky dog, you're going to be 1 lap down right there. So, really, he really needs to be doing all he can to get out into that lead, or at least out in front of the leader. Of course, won't be the leader, but that lap back the hard way, as we say, the old-fashioned way. But Alec Capers looking on the outside of Chris Verge.
That's not helping, though.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially with the net code. We see the 90 get some damage there with that invisible net code, although no drivers were affected. We're going 3 wide. The 24 is going 3 wide multiple times as time buys. These drivers, this is the disabled-only racing league, and these drivers are showing that they have everything that it takes to compete with some of the best here in iRacing. They are not afraid of backing out. The 32 probably has, honestly, the better chance of every driver here to get to the lead. Mostly because if you get by somebody, they're not really going to contest you because you're a lap down. They're still going to be in first place if they go by you, or if you go by them.
Actually, go ahead and look at the standings for a moment, Carlos, because the Billy Wise really needs to do all he can to do that right now, because look who's 1 lap down. Kyle Zimmer, who we saw in the wall just a few laps ago, lost a lap on pit road, so absolutely has to get his lap back the hard way now. But we have battle for the lead. Alan Capers right at the line. I believe he might have nipped Christopher Burge. Yes, he did. 8/1000ths of a second. The gap there. He's got a good push from behind from Travis Zudema. You see Zudema offsetting his car a little bit. And one thing we didn't really mention during this race yet was the fact that you can't push for more than a few laps at a time because your truck will overheat and you will blow up. So that's not something you really want to do out in the pack, because that does tend to cause trouble right there. So you can only push for about 3 or 4 laps at a time before that temperature gauge in the cockpit starts blinking red and tells you to kind of back off a little bit.
So this huge outside line is got in a huge hole as we are seeing the 3 car going down pit road. We mentioned a lot of drivers going down pit road. We mentioned it earlier about I believe the 60% fuel tank. These drivers are going to have to pit in about every 20 or so laps. I wasn't unable to see how many laps these drivers have gone then before they went down pit road, but it's very close, especially with the top 10 or so being at 13 or 15 laps in. Seeing so far Tanner Sharp, 7 Paskowicz, and Fernando Mazzo's down pit road right now. We'll see if anybody else is going to go down pit road this time by with about 17 laps to go.
And that obviously means they'll run for the field windows about 17 to 20 laps. So these drivers obviously thinking that they are in their window now, so go ahead and come down pit road, get that out of the way, and go to the end of the race. So we'll definitely have to see if anyone elects to come down pit road. And yes, they do. No, they don't. I thought the 90 was going to come down pit road, but ducked off of the apron for just a moment. But that's just probably because ooh, that's not good.
Caution
is out. Not sure what happened, but somebody is not where they're supposed to be. We'll have to see what happened.
Oh, just a little bit too much beans exiting the corner with the 17, and just turned. Kind of like what happened, I think, to Michael Walter back in Talladega. I think it was him. It was either him or one of his drivers. Am I thinking of something else?
That did happen to Michael Waltrip a few times, I think. Watch the replay once again here.
That was one of those famous sound bites where I guess I think the crew chief cursed or something about what happened. I'm probably thinking about something else.
But either way, if those drivers that just came off pit road lost a lap in that incident, I don't think they did, but we'll have to wait and see it when timing and scoring refreshes the next time by. That's going to really ruin their race. And like you said, there's Kyle Zimmer getting his lap back. Actually, good to see that, but
he may have gotten a lap back by an official, because that's a very unnatural place for somebody to get to get a lap back from iRacing. iRacing usually does it as a start-finish line, so something either the 25 should have been ahead of these drivers, or the officials gave him the lucky dog, because that's you don't get awarded a lucky dog in the middle of 3 and 4 unless that's new with the build. I don't know, is it?
I'm not sure, but he might have just gotten it himself, knowing he was going to get the lucky dog, and I've done that before, just being a little impatient, just because I want to get my lap back. But I see a lot of activity here on pit road. Most of the leaders like to come down pit road. If Tanner Sharp did not lose a lap on that exchange of stops, he's going to be the leader, I have to believe.
I thought he did lose a lap.
I don't think he did. No, he did not. So him and Paskowicz are going to be your top two cars, provided that the 66 pits. So that might have been a genius pit call right there.
Oh, you know what it was? He did get passed by the leaders, but the caution came out before. But I guess because he was at a certain speed when he got passed by the leaders, the iRacing told him to get the lap back. Because I do know for sure he was passed by the leaders, but it was after the caution came out.
Want to go ahead and give a shout out to Wesley Lee and Chad a bit, Ballon Capers fan, who he shows up to, I believe, most of our broadcasts. So good to see you in here. Hope you're enjoying the race, and we are coming down to the end of it, about 15 laps to go or so. So definitely, it absolutely is go time for all of these drivers. Billy Weiss is going to take the wave round, I believe, and be 2 laps down.
He definitely needed that for sure. We also have Will Wursler saying that he's been trying to get home to watch the race. Will Wursler is also a driver that races in the American Sim Racing Series that we broadcast on Tuesdays. So nice to see he's getting part of the family and enjoying what we're doing. We're going to have a treat for you guys when we do go green. We're going to go on board and listen to Nick Catella and his spotter and see just the type of calls that Nate gets during the middle of at least a green flag run for maybe a lap or two before we do go back. So this restart will be all about Nick Catella being on board and just seeing how the spotter behaves.
Absolutely. Nate is the only driver in the field who has a real life. Wayne Lowe is his spotter. Comes in every single week to do the spotting duties for Nate, and very cool to see. A lot of drivers saying that Wayne is a quality spotter, and we're definitely gonna have to get a taste of that ourselves here on 3xTV. Looks like Brian Lowe had like to come down pit road. Of course, probably not able to make it to the end, and I don't think Billy Wise will be able to as either. But he has to get his laps back any way he can. And for him, that means taking the wave round. So definitely down to the end of the race where he really needs something big to happen if he's going to have a chance to win this race.
But what's strange is that he's run 17 laps on these tires since he's last gone down pit road. So 17 laps since he's last gone down pit road. It's possible he didn't segment tires. But from what we were estimating, we're estimating about 20 laps of fuel. He can probably go maybe 2 or 3 laps before he has to go down again once we do go back green. Do you think maybe our estimations are off, or do you think he's just hoping to get a caution very, very quickly?
I think he's just hoping to get an arbor caution pretty quickly right on the restart and see if he can do that. Because if that happens, I mean, he will be 2 laps down and get the lucky dog. So he'll be 1 lap down after that. So I think that's really what he needs. Definitely what he needs at this point, because with so few laps to go, really your chances to get those laps back are going to be kind of going down the drain. He still has 1 fast pair left though, so really not out of the woods, not as bad as we might initially think, but either way, this race has not gone to plan for him, but it's not over yet. And real quick before we go green, let's get a chance to talk to somebody we don't normally talk to.
We can try to talk to Kevin Paskowicz.
All right, let's bring him in here real quick. Kevin Paskowicz, Gamer Rich up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, what's up?
It's pretty good up here. It looks a little bit crazier down there, but you are running in the lead right now. Been up there for the most part, doing a good job staying up there at the front. But coming down to the end of the race, what's your plan to kind of see if you can get this win?
Avoid the wrecks. No, it's Talladega. It's a crapshoot. It's just a matter of trying to work yourself into the right position on the last lap or the last restart. To try and get it. So with the green-white checkers, who knows? But we're going to try and stay up front as long as we can, at least.
All right. Well, how's the track out there? It looks like a lot of trucks are moving around. Just these trucks do punch a huge hole in the air, so that's just going to happen. But track feel all right to you?
I think it's a little slick, actually. The trucks are feeling really funny going into the corners, especially the lighter the fuel load gets. On the outside, they're floating a little bit, almost loose. So, which is not common for these trucks here. So, it's putting it in the driver's hands a little bit. I think we have to watch when and where to make the move or where to make the bump, because it is just a little bit gnarly out here.
Gnarly, that's a good word to describe Talladega, I think, all around. But definitely, you're doing a good job out there, and good luck the rest of the race. Thanks for talking with us, and I don't know, good luck once again. Thanks.
One final question, Kevin.
Right.
Is there a particular reason why you're saving fuel, or is that just out of habit, or is there a chance that you guys are not going to?
I think I'm good to go, but I want some for a green-white checker in case.
That's right. We do have to worry about those.
Just because, yep, gotta consider for the end of that race here now. So, just trying to ride around, save as much as we can, and hopefully we'll have enough if we have a green-white checker.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Kevin. We wish you good luck in the race.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And that is definitely something I did not think about, Carlos. The green white checkers, with the fuel numbers being what they are looking to be like, that can definitely throw a wrench into this entire race.
Yeah, I agree. It's a couple weeks ago. I think the last time we were at the trucks, a couple of these drivers ran out of fuel, and ended up getting a surprise winner. This is not a track where you want to run out of fuel. It would be equivalent to blowing an engine. And out of the two of us, one of us here has experience blowing an engine in the middle of a pack in a super speedway race. Cam, is it fun?
Well, well, no.
I believe it was a season opener at Daytona a couple years ago where that happened to you. I was next to you. I was not on your line, but I was next to you, and your engine just gave up, and I almost died. I got so scared, I might as well got a new pair of pants.
Actually, well, I have done that in official racing, but if you're talking about the incident I think you're talking about, that was somebody in front of me who blew up, and I had nowhere to go, and I plowed right through them.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. I think that might have been somebody else.
Yeah, a couple was in front of me, and pop goes the motor, and boom goes my car. So,
well, I guess you would still have experience, because even though your engine didn't blow, somebody blew right in front of you.
And then my engine blew because I plowed through somebody at
but that's different. Yeah.
90. So
one to green.
But either way,
we're gonna have
forget that happened.
Restart. Yeah, we're gonna have a silent restart. Listening on board to the 4 team, listening to their spotter, maybe a lap or two, and we'll get back to commentating. This will be a untraditional restart for us. Once we do go back green, because we'll be entering their team chat, so we will not be talking because we do not want to mess with what they are doing. The Ford Nicotilla is actually restarting this race in 8th place, so we'll see if he got anything done or if he's actually been having issues. We've been noticing he's been dropping some back. So for right now, we're gonna go radio silence and we're gonna go restart on board with his team. So we'll be right back.
I just need to just make sure we're tight on the start. It's gonna be the first one that we actually go. Back in gear. Outside rows hanging back a little bit. Be prepared from the surge. They're surging now. They're gonna double up. Go ahead, you can surge. You move ahead. Move ahead some. Okay, they're gonna be checking up a little bit. Checking up a little bit. Roll right there. Roll right there. That speed. That speed. Steady. 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 Green, 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 green. Side of your quarter. Still there. Still there. Still there barely. Still there. You're clear down. You're clear down if you want it. If you want it, you're clear down. You have outside lane surging, but nobody's formed up. Just stay in the draft. Stay in the draft. No run coming. No run coming. Whatever lane you want here. Whatever lane you want. The bottom line has more cars. The outside is not formed up at all. Outside is not formed up at all. There's a push coming to the top, but you're still in the right line. Stay on the bottom. You have one outside with a push. One outside. Their momentum's going to stop when they get up here. Stay in line. Hold your line. 2 by 2. Front 4. 2 by 2. You're 4th on the bottom. No help behind you. One outside of your quarter. They're wrecking. Hold your line. Hold your line. Hold your line. All right, there was no way we were going to get through that. It's fine. A lot of the field wrecked.
Well, you saw that there first, and unfortunately yellow there for the 4 of Nate Catilla. It's amazing work by the spotter, though. It's a real shame that had to happen. Let's go back and see if we can take a look at the replay on that. Cam, what were your thoughts on that?
You know, I wasn't really paying attention to the wreck because I was kind of taking in how good that spotting job was, but it looks, we'll see what happened there in the replay. It looks like that there might have just been a little bit of bumper hook right there. And unfortunately, number 98 was involved right there, almost tipped over on his lid. Been the dominant car all night, so he's going to have to definitely take a fast fare, but definitely has all 4 remaining. Has not had to take one just yet, I don't believe. Has been out front most of this race, but it probably, I think it started there with the 98 and 17, you see right there. Oh, actually, 98 got hooked from behind, really, after the wreck happened, so looks like the 17 of Fernando Matos was the one who actually began the wreck.
No, the 13. 13.
Yeah, he got turned behind by the 13.
No, obviously not on purpose. This is intentional. It's a little bump there on the wrong side of the quarter panel.
Yeah, and you saw AJ Digby there was the one who turned the 98. Just nothing anyone can do there. And when your car is spinning out of control like that, there's really not anything that you can realistically do. So it's a shame for all those trucks that were involved. Actually, a big chunk of the field was involved in that. So all those drivers are going to have to take fast fares if they have them remain. And I believe that if I'm right, Billy Wise wasn't involved in a caution for once, so he's going to be getting one of his 2 laps back and be 1 laps down. So good to see that.
Just in time to go on the lead lap for a green-white checker, honestly, if it goes this way. And also,
that would definitely be something to see.
This is also really good for Billy Wise, who definitely needed that caution. Yeah,
absolutely. We were talking before the green came out that he probably doesn't have enough fuel to finish this race, so he's going to have to take his lucky dog and pit probably immediately. We have some activity here on pit road, mostly cars that were involved in the wreck, I believe, getting their damage fixed up and so they can get their trucks all ready for this last 8-9 laps or so. And while we're under caution, I'll see if I can queue up somebody else that we can talk to in just a moment. Let's go ahead and talk to our second place driver, Tom Johnson, right now. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, the winner at Kansas. See what his thoughts on the race is right now. Let's see if we can find him real quick. There he is. Tom Johnson, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How are we doing today, guys?
We're doing pretty well. Looks like you're doing all right, too. Bit of damage on that front end. I kind of want to ask you about that before anything. How's the truck driving for you?
It seems to be pretty good. I'm just trying to stay out of trouble.
All right. Well, looks like it's a bit of a Talladega race out there tonight, and by that I mean just kind of going the way that everyone expected. A few wrecks here and there, a few big wrecks, and a lot of pushing, and saw a couple tandems there. But what's your plan for the rest of this race?
Well, we're down to less than 10 now, so it's going to be go for it. So.
All right. So you think you can make it 2 truck wins in a row?
I hope so. It'd be nice, but I don't know if I can do 2 in a row here. I got to get around Kevin, and starting on the outside isn't a good thing either. So.
All right, Tom. Well, appreciate you talking to us. We'll let you get back to what you're doing. Good luck the rest of the race, and hope to talk to you again after the checkered flag.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, you heard it from him. Doesn't really know what's going on, and neither does anyone else. Of course, Talladega, I think we heard it from Kevin himself. He said it's kind of a crapshoot, and indeed it is, especially down at this end of the race with 8 or so laps to go right now. So we're going to be restarting probably with about 6 to go, I would assume, maybe 5. Either way, that does put us into the green-white checkered range if another caution comes out. So that'll be something very interesting to see.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get to experience another green white checkered, but it's good to have that fall back on in case to prevent it from finishing under caution. Once again, for those that are unaware, with the SimPossible Racing League, they're going to be doing 3 attempts at a green white checkered before the race will be officially over. Something that we were unable to notice last race was that typically iRacing does not throw yellow flags while they're racing on the last lap. But it seems like the white flag was displayed last week. However, the leaders had not crossed the start-finish line to start the last lap. Therefore, because the white was displayed and it wasn't the last lap when a caution should have come out, it did come out and it did end the race because the white was in the air and it was out there. So that's why the race ended when we thought we would have been going to a second green-white checker. Unfortunately, because of the way that that our scoring and tracking gets broken because of a green-white checkered, we are unable to see exactly when a white flag does come out and when a caution flag comes out as well. So we'll just have to assume that if it's close enough, I would assume maybe exiting turn 4 around the time we get to the tri-oval. That would be around the zone where if a caution comes out before it's the last lap, getting the white flag, then the race is more than likely over.
And yeah, we were a bit confused by that last week on Monday, but really technically that is how it should be. So, because once the white flag is thrown by the flagman in real life, that is the official end of the green-white checkered period. So, bit of a mistake on our part. But either way, good to see that iRacing finally has that. So we've been asking for so long now. iRacing's been out since 2008, and so it's 11 years we've been asking for it, and even though I think that's incredibly too long, it's good that it's finally here. Pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going back racing here with 6 laps to go here, and that is definitely in the green-white checkered range, I have to assume, or at least it will be once we get to 5 go, definitely. So your leader going to be Kevin Paskovich on the restart, followed by Tom Johnson, who we talked to, Renato Matos 3rd, Container Sharp in 4th, Brian Lowehead in 5th, Kyle Zimmer 6th, Johnny Berardi 7th, Matthew Lesniewski in 8th position, Thomas Wise in 9th, and AJ Digby in 10th.
So, with this hopefully being the last restart we have, who do you expect could end up winning the race here tonight? Just based on the amount of skill they've shown here tonight at the moment.
Well, I think that I think that one of the top 14 drivers can win the race right now. The way this is going, we've seen Rex take out a majority of the field, and with the way these guys are pushing, and they're going to be even more aggressive on this restart, I think we might see somebody from outside the top 10 possibly take the checkered flag. And Carlos, I don't know if I think you were in the race. Had a 3-wide race earlier on the season where the winner of the race was about 11th place on the last lap. So really anything is possible at this point.
It wasn't me though. I haven't won a 3-wide race since the first ever super late model race that was ran in 3-wide at Talladega.
And that was before my time.
You don't need to answer when was the last time you won a race, all right? We all get it. You're better than us. But by the way, congratulations. We all saw that was posted on Twitter that you're going to be driving again in the Cup car for Isentech at least a couple races, it seems.
Yeah, and that kind of threw me off for a loop because I still haven't bought the Mustang yet, so I guess I have to do that now. So thank you, Drew, if you're watching, for making me spend $11 that I didn't really want to spend. But either way, it is a nice-looking car, and it'd be fun to race that on some road courses, maybe short tracks later on in the year. But that pace car is off. We're going to be going green here in just about 2 seconds right now, and you see Tom Johnson getting a push from behind from Tanner Sharp. Paskovich has a bit of a gap back to 17 of Matos there. The top side is formed up pretty well. They got Sharp Actually, no more because he ducked down to that inside line, going for second place right now.
good for
We
the
have some stack
7.
up in the back. Have a stack up in the back. Kyle Zimmer got really squirrely, got a push from behind. I think it was a bad bump when he was already pushing someone, so kind of had to
it's still
check
too
out.
early. Caution is out. Well, I don't think we'll be getting a green by checker because we're not even at 5 to go yet. I think it's still too early.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be something to look out for. We'll have to see who was involved in that. I see right there AJ Digby involved in it, and I think 24 of Lusnewski, I saw him getting pitched up into the wall. And the one of Thomas Wise there, somebody went off on the inside. I believe that's Christopher Burge. So the night has gone from great to bad to worse for him. He was your dominant car. I don't think anyone can touch his amount of laps led, and just kind of getting involved in everything right now. But a big wad of cars right here. Looks like he just ran out of room, and Alan Capers, you saw, he got blindsided right there. Nothing he could do. He got hooked in the right rear quarter panel, and off for a ride he went.
I don't believe this, but I think there may have been one lucky driver that got through all this unscathed who really needed it.
Would it be the driver we're on board with right now?
Possibly. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I think you're right. Oh my goodness. That was very close too.
So one last look. I want to go ahead and take a look at the 99 who is below the apron. He's below the apron. When he comes up just there, he makes contact with the 24, and that starts the wreck.
And that, I think that might have been the catalyst that actually caused it, but they were kind of bouncing off each other right behind him as well, so that might have happened regardless. But either way, look who's leading right now. 3 of Tanner Sharp was able to get around the 7. And he's back up to where he started this race, right up there in that number 1 position. A couple drivers coming down pit road, and obviously no one at the front, but those trucks who were involved in the accident like them to come down pit road. And I want to kind of touch base on what the 32 of Billy Wise's situation right now. I went back on the replay a little bit and watched his last wave round that he took on the last caution. He actually pitted during the wave round, which is a big no-no. You can't pit during a wave round, and that's why he is still 2 laps down and not 1 that he would have been otherwise. So a bit of a bad break there, but either way, he's going to get one of his laps back from the lucky dog here in just a moment. And it might be a little bit too late for him to get back on the lead lap with a realistic shot at winning, but there is still a little bit of hope for him. And while we're under caution, once again, let's take a chance to talk to someone else. Let's go ahead and talk to our current 4th place driver, the driver of the 66, Shotgun Charlie himself, Brian Lowhead. We'll see if we can find him in TeamSpeak, and yes, he's right there. Brian Lowhead, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you're in 4th right now. Started in last, as you always do. We've kind of made a meme out of you never qualifying, but either way, it doesn't matter. You never end up there. You're always somebody who ends up near the front in the end. Kind of just tell us how the race has been from your well, words are hard. From your perspective so far.
At the beginning, I was just taking my time trying to save my fast repairs, and then with about 10 to go, I said I'm going for it because you never know if the caution comes out at the end. So.
Absolutely. We talked about how those fast repairs are absolutely necessary at a race like this, and we've seen a lot of drivers doing exactly that. But how's the track feeling? We've had a couple drivers say it's a bit slick out there.
Yeah, it is on used tires about 15 laps into your tire run, but I pitted a couple times, so that helped. Cooking the right rear off after about 15-20 laps. So.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to what you're doing best. Running in 4th position right now, doing a very good job out there, and we'll hopefully talk to you again after the checkered flag, but thank you very much for talking with us, Brian. Good luck.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the show.
That's interesting to hear that, Carlos, that the right rear is actually cooking on these trucks. I
That's
wouldn't
a
imagine
shocker to me.
Absolutely, and that definitely is not good because that means loose trucks, and I think we have seen that a bit tonight. A couple trucks getting a little bit sideways, and definitely does play well to what we've heard from Brian. So we'll see if that actually comes into play with these tires being about as old as they've been all night.
It's definitely throwing me for a loop. I just wouldn't expect that to be such an issue here tonight. But as it was mentioned before, the track conditions has been described as very squirrely, loosey. It's just something that the drivers have to get used to. As it looks like next time by will be 2 to go. Since next time by is 2 to go, if we do get a one to go, we'll be restarting with 1 lap to go before the race ends. I know in real life in NASCAR, they just automatically go to green, white, checkered. I don't know how iRacing would treat it. I don't know if iRacing would treat this as a 1 lap shootout.
Well, we're on an adventure tonight. We're gonna find out, I guess, and that's pretty exciting, I have to say.
And we also won't know if it is treated as a 1 lap shootout because, as the aforementioned, green, white, checkers do kind of break. They break this timing and scoring for us. It doesn't update about any green, white, checkered. So we would need to see if we can contact the race official and see just exactly what is going to go on. So let's go see if we can bring in Jeff and see what he has to say, if he knows any official information or if everything is ready to silence at the moment. Jeff, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man. How you
Hi,
doing?
Jeff. So it was mentioned already before that the green, white, checkers do mess with their timing and scoring. So something that I know in iRacing that iRacing doesn't realize. Are you? Before I say this, are you guys at 2 to go at the moment?
They were at 2 to go, yes.
So it should be 1 to go this time by. In real life, in real life, NASCAR goes into green, white, checkered because they don't restart with 1 lap to go. I don't know how iRacing does it. Are you aware if this is going to be a green, white, checkered, or if this is just going to be a restart with 1 lap?
We were actually just talking about that before you pulled me in the booth. I personally have no idea. It's kind of good in a way that this happened this way, so we can tell what it's going to do, because I have no idea.
You guys have both. This is. You guys did already 1 green, white, checker that taught us a lot about coming to the white flag with the white flag in the air, but not actually being on the last lap. Triggers a caution to end the race if there is a wreck. And now we're going to learn if iRacing restarts with 1 lap to go, or if it goes automatically to a green, white, checkered. Would you be able to send either myself and or Cam, preferably Cam, a message on the restart if you guys figure out if it is a green, white, checkered, or if it's not?
I have confirmation right now. It just said the race will be extended for green, white, checker finish.
Okay, there you guys go. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We wish you good luck for the rest of the race.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos.
Well, there you have it, folks. We are going to have a classic green, white, checkered. This will be the first attempt at a green, white, checkered. On that note, that means I go ahead and I get to remove this because our timing and scoring might as well be broken because at the moment it is 2 to go. Next time by, it will still be 2 to go.
Easy peasy, get the confirmation like that, and definitely. So I guess 1 lap shootouts in iRacing are not a thing anymore, at least on the oval side. So it's
that's fine.
I guess
okay
that's
with that,
pretty
yeah.
good. That's pretty good because those were always kind of a cluster anyway. So either way, more racing for these fine viewers at my TV. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I want to give a shout out to all of our chatters and everything who stuck around, and we hope the rest of this race is going to be a pretty good one. I think it's been a pretty good show so far, and we've seen a lot of everything tonight. But the pace car going to pull himself down on that yellow line, pull into pit road, and we're going to be working our first attempt at the green, white, checker, and like we said, we have 3 if need be, so we might be here for a while, or we might not. We'll have to wait and see, and We definitely will see that in about 5 seconds when the green flag is thrown, and right there it is, flagman throwing that green flag out. Very excited looking flagman right there. You saw him pass by on your screen. Good restart for that number 7 of Kevin Paskovich. We saw him say, ooh, trouble for the 17. He got shoved out of line, but was able to save it. That number 17 has made a lot of very good saves tonight. Very good driving on his part. But he's going to lose quite a bit of positions. He got bumped from behind by the 25. Ooh, there's somebody in the wall. The 4's in the wall. Have a lot of cars wrecking on the backstretch, and I think that's going to be our green-white checker number 2 right there. Yes, it is. A lot of cars involved. A lot of hard hits there on the inside wall of 24 of Lesniewski. There's a 17 of Matos, who was the first car to get bumped out of line. The number 4 made hard contact. I think that's AJ Digby involved as well. He's been involved in pretty much everything since a few laps ago. So he's got to be not happy about the way his night's going. But I have to go look for something real quick. But Carlos,
Yo,
I think the 20 or I think 32 is going to be on the lead lap. No, he's not. He's actually still 2 laps down.
yeah, that's strange. I would have thought he would have gotten at least 1 lap down by now, or 1 lap back by now. It's a huge wreck that happened back there. Let's go see if we can take another look at just what exactly happened. The race results is being shown that the race is finished, but that is not true. Let's go back once again. We saw this wreck actually happening, but it was beginning to fold one. But let's go see if we can get just another look at it exactly. You see the 14 making its way up through the middle. So 17 was having some issues. 17 and the 14 made contact. There just wasn't enough room as they were going 4 wide. And Nicotilla gets involved, 24 gets involved, 17 gets involved, 32 does not get involved, and he may get the lap back, but we're not fully sure yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a weird situation there regarding Billy Wise, but either way, we are going to have another attempt at this green-white checkered, and it will be number 2, so that's a first for Through ITV. First green-white checker last week, and first 2 green-white checkers this week. So pretty cool to see that.
Now, I do believe that under green-white checkered, they are quickie cautions.
I would have to assume so, yes.
I believe that's what happened last race, but I cannot remember if that was during the first attempt at a green-white checkered, or if that was what we thought was the second green-white checkered that ended up being the race was being over. So we'll see just what happens when the lights are off. If the lights turn off, I mean, I guess it might still be early enough, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so lights are on. We're going to go one more time.
So we're going to have at least 2 more laps of caution here. We need the lights to go off, and then 1 more lap with the lights off. And we'll wait for these few caution laps to run out. Let me get me a drink real quick.
Alright, the pace car lights are still on as we're gonna go in yet another lap. So I guess I was wrong about this being a rookie caution. It seems that what I was remembering was what happened last time. But we'll see if Cam, if you might be able to talk to Tanner Sharp, see if we can get his takes on what's going on here tonight.
Yeah, let's go drag him down real quick and see where he is in the team sheet. He's right there. And I got him, Tanner Sharp. Yeah, Cam Rich, you got a copy?
Yep.
All right, man. Well, it's like you've been pretty aggressive out there tonight. You're doing a good job pushing and getting pushed and just getting yourself in position to win this race. What's the plan for this green white checkered?
Don't wreck and stay up towards the front and don't wreck. I mean, there isn't really a plan. I haven't really been thinking about playing right now. I'm just gonna hit the gas pedal and kind of see how this 170 mile to 185 mile chess match plays out, and then I'll go from there. So I don't know. Me and Kevin are swapping lead back and forth here every time we get this restart. So who knows? I might be able to get back like how I did earlier.
Absolutely. You did a pretty good job out there tonight. How's the track feeling? We've seen or heard a couple drivers say that the track is kind of slick out there. So you kind of feeling that yourself?
Slick, yeah, slick on entrance. I have to breathe. I have to like get off the throttle for like a split second, like a quick tap out, and just to get the truck settled. And likes to snap loose the back end, and that's due to the reason why. It's because it's a 60% fuel load, so it's kind of like a feather in the background. There was a wind, but it kind of died down. And the track temperature was kind of up, but it looks like it's kind of lower just a little bit as this race went on. So it's a little loose. The only biggest scrape that I have is the gearing in this truck.
All right, Tanner. Well, thank you very much for talking with us. We should be getting one to go here in just about 300 yards or so. So talk to you again after the race, and thank you very much for talking with us.
Yep, no problem. Hope you guys having a good race. Podcast up there.
All right, well, pretty simple from him, saying that he's just going to hit the gas and see what happens, which is pretty much all you can do. I'd be a little shocked if he said he was going to stock up on some weapons of mass destruction or something. So I kind of got the answer I expected there, but either way, pace car lights are off, and we're going to be going green here in about a minute and a half for our second attempt at a green white checker. Have a couple mentions to say. Nate Catilla, Billy Wise, Johnny Berardi are all 2 laps down. Matthew Lesniewski is actually retired from the event. I believe he might have ran out of fast repairs after that last accident, so that's definitely a shame for him. He was up at the front for much of this race, running solidly in the top 5, and Thomas Wise as well also ran in the top 5 for a bit there, is 3 laps down, so that's a big blow to all those drivers, and I think they are well and truly out of the running for the win of this race.
So something we will need to see on this final restart is how these drivers, especially the 7 of Kevin Pasquich and the 3 of Tanner Sharp, approach of the restart. This is a green white checkered. It's not a one to go. They cannot afford to get a huge hole, a huge distance between their pushing partner, especially whoever is the driver that ends up getting the lead on this restart. They're gonna need the 7's gonna need the 66 to push him. And Tanner's going to need the 25 of Kyle Zimmer to push him. Out of both of these drivers, I got to go with Tanner Sharp here. Tanner Sharp has a bit more experience, but not only that, he has a previous teammate, the 25 of Kyle Zimmer. They used to work together. So these two do know how to work well, and we'll see just exactly how it goes here on this last restart.
He also has that number 90 of Travis Zidma, who we've not talked about a bit during this race, has been kind of the loyal pusher of the night. He's been really good at pushing everybody out to the lead, and I think that is a very good person to have in your line right now, especially down near the end of this race. But pace car is off, and Tanner Sharp getting a little bit of a gap between him and the 25 behind him. Green flag is out, so looks like we are well and truly underway. Good restart for both lines. Looks like the outside line just a bit stronger on that restart. Tanner has pulled ahead of Kevin by just about a nose right there. We'll see if he can clear him into turn one. He's got a great push from behind. That outside line is very well formed up right now with Zudeman, Zimmer, and Sharp. And really, Kevin Paskowitz kind of left out to dry. Does not have the good push from Brian Loha just yet. Not able to get to him as of yet. But here comes Chris Berge on the outside line. He's the dominant truck of the day. We'll see if he can do anything down the backstretch. He is up to the 4th position, going for 3rd on that outside line, which has the good push. Tanner Sharp made a bit of a mistake there by going down on the bottom side. He's going to pull right in front of that number 7. And number 98 left out to dry a little bit by himself, but he's got Nate Cattell behind him. We haven't talked about him all night tonight. He was the driver we were on board with his spotter, but he's getting left out to dry right now. And all of a sudden,
caution is out.
Another caution.
But I think we're at the point where the white flag may have been out.
We'll have to wait and see on that one, but I think you might be right on that. And if so, that's going to give the win to Kyle Zimmer. But let's not jump the gun on that just yet, because don't want to be wrong on that. But I think you might be correct on that.
I would love to go back and see if we can get a replay, but unfortunately, it seems like the green-white checkers have actually caused another type of issue with my timing and scoring, and I actually can't switch to any driver as soon as I want to. So if this is in fact the last lap, this does put the win on the 25 of Kyle Zimmer, who pretty much seemingly came out of nowhere because he has really not been up front throughout the majority of the race, and he ends up winning the race here at the very end.
I think the white flag was being thrown when the caution came out. Really, I'm looking at the... I want to say it was, so definitely I think the race might be over here.
We'll take a look and see what they say at the very end.
I guess we will get our word right here if the flagman throws the checkered flag or not. See a couple drivers coming down pit road, which kind of leads me to assume that it might not be the end of the race, so I'm not sure on that one. See what the flagman does. He's still waving the yellow flag, so I think we're still going to be racing here. I think that's our official confirmation right there. We're still under a yellow flag, so we're going to have one more attempt at the green-white checkered before we end this event, which is also another first for Green-White TV. Our first 2 green-white checkers and our first 3 green-white checkers, and we're going to fill up the quota for tonight, and whatever flag we get next is going to end the race, whether it be yellow or checkered.
There will be no more attempts after this one if there is another caution. I believe that's the 99 that stopped in the middle of the backstretch. I'm not sure what's going on here.
All right. Well, while we're doing at least 2 more laps of pace in here, let's dial up another one of our drivers for tonight's event, just because we want to get as much as we can from these drivers. Let's talk to the current second place driver, Travis Zudem. I kind of want to hear how his race has gone. Travis Zudem, is Ken Rich up in the booth? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you are in second right now, and we're gonna have one more green-white checkered finish. Looks like it was pretty close there you're close there to having the white flag, about a couple feet or so. But either way, you're gonna have a little bit more time to try and get that win. Kind of, just tell us how your race has gone tonight.
It's got its ups and its downs. I've been involved in a few wrecks, and made my way back up to the front each time. But it's Talladega, man.
Well, we've seen you be one of the strongest pushers out here. You seem to really be solid with that pushing, and really whatever line you get in is usually the fast one. So are you going to try to drop in behind that 25 and push him and maybe make a last-minute move, or do you want to try to get out front and just stay there?
I'll try to get in behind Kyle, man. He's a good guy, but I doubt Tanner will give any room to get in there. So it's going to be, we'll see what I can do on the outside here.
All right, Travis. Well, thank you for the quick words, and good luck the rest of the race. Hope to talk to you again after the checker flag.
All right, thank you.
So
all right, pretty.
Oh, pardon me. Go ahead.
Pretty simple strategy there for Travis. He said he's going to try to drop, whatever that word is, duck in behind the 25 and push him, and probably make his last-minute move down the front stretch right here where these guys are at right now. But wait and see how that happens.
All right, we got 1 to green one last time. This is it. If the caution comes out, or if the white flag or a checker flag comes out, the race is over. With the exception of the white flag. This is the third and final attempt for the lead here, and I have a feeling this might be the longest race that the league has done. I can't quite confirm that, but going into the final time, they're going to be going at pace speed, as we have the 10 of AJ Digby getting himself back in position. Somebody was asking for, well, they were saying that Alan Capers had a good shot at winning. Capers is currently in 5th place, and he actually does have a good shot at winning if these leaders get involved in something. But at the moment, it's Kyle Zimmer and Travis Udema. Tanner Sharp is in 3rd place, and he'll be pushing the 25, which is pretty much the inverse of what happened last restart, where the 3 was being pushed by the 25. So we'll see what happens on here. Tanner Sharp is has been known for not messing around and getting the job done in these very, very crucial moments. Also, the 7 Kevin Paskovich is going to be restarting on 4 from the outside 9. So we'll be seeing who exactly gets to finish where, and if this whole top 4 doesn't even get to finish in the top 4 at the end of these next 2 laps.
Yeah, I think really any of these drivers up here have a shot. If something happens, I mean, what if Kyle Zimmer gets involved in something and that takes out, the top 5 or whatever? Then that would.
By the way, sorry to cut you off. Somebody's asking for Billy Wise. Billy Wise is still on the racetrack. He's currently 2 laps down. He was hit by a series of very, very bad events and unfortunate events that happened to him tonight. So he's 2 laps down, and he had a truck that had speed, but just getting involved in a couple early wrecks that had nothing to do with it. Was just a catalyst to a horrible night here tonight.
Absolutely, just not gotten the way he wanted to, but still is out there fighting for. I guess he can get one more position. Nick Tilla is 2 laps down. The only driver he's really racing, but the pace car is off. We are going to go green for our last green white checker of the night, and whatever flag we get next will end the race. Whether it be a white flag will be the end of that, or get a yellow flag will end the race, but green flag is out. Bottom side is very tough right now with Sharp and Capers and Matos right there as well. Top side of Zudema and Paskovich not formed up very well, but they are, we have seen those 2 car tandems be pretty strong, able to keep up with lines of more numbers, but we'll see how that goes. Looks like Zimmer has the good push right now from Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp actually looked like he wanted to duck out and go on the outside, but Zudema was there on the outside. He couldn't do anything, so he had to duck back in behind Zimmer, and I think he probably will stay there. He will lay his nose into the back bumper of that number 25 machine. Those are former teammates, so we know they will work together very well. Number 90 has been the, he just got cut out of line by the 7 of Paskovich. That's not going to be what he needs, and he's going to fall pretty quickly to the back, actually about 1 or 2 positions. There's Nate Catilla right below him, and he's going to go for the top 5 position. Zudema can finally get back in line in front of the 17 of Matos, but white flag is out, so we are going to end this race under green, and we'll see if Tanner Sharp wants to make a move. He looked like he was going to, but didn't have the momentum. I think he's going to try to make the move here off turn number 2. That's usually where the moves happen. Look and see if that number 3 ducks out. Trouble in the back. Alan Capers in the wall hard. I think Nick Catilla's in the wall hard as well, and that's put Travis Zudema back into the 3rd position. And we'll see if he can make himself get a good run. He's got a pretty good run through turns 3 and 4. He's got the fastest truck on track right now. He's got that huge push from those 2 trucks in front, or that huge pull from the 2 trucks in front of him. Coming down to the end of the flag, Tanner Sharp looks like he's going to make the move on the outside on Kyle Zimmer, but Zimmer's going to get the help from Travis Zudema. I think Zimmer's going to come to the line and he's going to win this race. Yes, he does. So good push from behind from Travis Zudema. We heard Travis say that he was going to go with the 25 to the end of the race, and we saw it right there. Tanner Sharp made a move on the outside to get around the 25, and he could not do anything because the number 90 of Travis Zudema decided to go with Kyle Zimmer. So a good win for Kyle Zimmer. Of course, not somebody we saw up front most of the night. He really got up front there at the end of the race through some strategy and kind of other people having issues happen to them. But either way, he is the winner of tonight's event, and definitely going to help his point situation quite a bit.
That was a very fun race to watch there, start to finish. Congratulations to Kyle Zimmer on getting the W there at the end. But we're going to go ahead and take a moment. We'll be right back after this break. So please stick around.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alright, you're good.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talladega. We've concluded tonight's event. There's your winner right there, Kyle Zimmer. But before we talk to him, let's go ahead and talk to our third place finisher, Tanner Sharp. Well, we talked to you before the last restart, or a couple of restarts, and saw you got nabbed there at the end from the 90. Is there anything you could have done differently there?
Maybe cut to the inside to get underneath Kyle, because Kyle's going to play defense. But it was a good finish. That was the main goal, was to try to finish the race realistically. So it is what it is. It's a solid top 5 after starting on pole. We led quite a few laps, and yeah, we know how to play race.
All right, well, gonna cut this short by just a bit, but that is the halfway point in the season. And next week we go to Dover. How are you looking forward to that one? Or, 2 weeks from now in the trucks.
I won't be able to race any more Mondays as of right now. This was the only Monday because I was in Madison all day today, and I got home about an hour before the truck race start here tonight. So, but the next race for me will be Chicagoland for the B cars, which is, I don't think is this week, but next week. So I'm really looking forward to that race. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. It's just plate racing tonight, man. We had a goal. We was trying to win the race. Just following old Kyle there. Him and I were teammates, and I was committed to him. Everybody else wrecked. Then I had to figure out what I was going to do there. Then I seen Travis come up. So sometimes when you see a move, you got to take it. But we had a good night tonight. Thanks to Through Wide TV. I need a paint scheme, so I kind of stole one off of Trading Paints. Otherwise, I didn't have a paint scheme. So no sponsors realistically here tonight. And thanks to Jeff and the drivers. Everybody did a good job here tonight at Talladega.
All right, Tanner. Well, thank you very much for talking with us. Congrats on finishing. Probably not where you wanted to finish, but either way, good finish and a good race.
Yep, I gotta go race some 3-wide right now, so I gotta get my butt moving.
Absolutely. All right, well, I got our second place driver right here, Travis Zuderman. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, I heard you said you were going to go with the 25 on the restart, and it actually ended up happening a couple laps later, but kind of just take us through your thought process there on that last lap.
Well, I got, being on the high side like that, like it's hard to get going up if you don't have enough trucks behind you. So I kind of got shuffled back there, and then I don't know what happened. They just it's like the Red Sea just parted right in front of me, and they just wrecked, and I just drafted up to Tanner, and, was kind of riding the outside, thinking more likely that Tanner was going to go that way, thinking I was going to go with him, but then I ducked down and went right behind Kyle, so it's good for Kyle.
Absolutely, and like you said, there was a wreck in front of you. Did you kind of see that happening through turns 2, or did it kind of just happen before you knew about it?
I seen a little bit, like they were starting to move around a little bit, and I kind of just lifted and kind of, feathered the throttle a little bit to try to give myself a little bit of distance, so it worked out.
All right, well, in 2 weeks' time, we go to Dover with the trucks. How you looking forward to that one?
Oh, Dover's all right. I don't mind Dover. It's a good track.
Yeah, I love Dover myself too, but we've got to kind of get this going a little bit. So, Travis, thank you very much for talking with us. As always, congrats on your second place finish tonight and a very good race, and hope to talk to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, and I got our winner here, Mr. Carlos. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go through this right now. Kyle, you were kind of nowhere all night, really. Let's be real here. You were kind of nowhere, kind of maybe hanging back, getting involved in some things or whatever. But either way, you were able to get to the front when it mattered and kind of just talk us through your race.
Yeah, and the race was pretty good. I just kind of kept low, you know, not to make a lot of aggressive movement first half of the race, and just kind of floated for the first half of the race, and then around halfway through, I kind of lost. Somehow my truck kind of lost balance or something. I hit the wall, and I lost a lot of speed. Had some good amount of damage there, so I lost a lap, and caution came out. Had the, lucky dog he got back in, and then avoid the ruts. And coming to the green white truckers, I should play the cars right in. And hold on, take the win from the.
Absolutely up front when it mattered the most, but either way, we saw you barrel rolling at Daytona earlier in this year, so I think this is a bit of a better result for you. But either way, we go to a track next or 2 weeks from now where you've had success. We go to the Dover International Speedway, and you think you've won there in the B car earlier on this year. How are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, definitely. Dover's gonna be a fun race. I finished second in the truck series last season there, and won car series the last time you were there. Very excited to go to Dover, and especially after tonight, but had a good time to kind of go forward from there, and hopefully had a win there. Definitely excited for Dover.
All right, Kyle. Well, congrats on your win tonight. A very good run race from start to finish. You outlasted the competition, but as always, thank you for talking with us, and we hope to talk to you next week.
I want to shout out to you guys, my TV for podcasting, and for creating this thing about that. I also want to thank everyone who participated and protest racing on me and had them first win. Yeah, I definitely wanted on drivers for the push. I don't think I would have won it.
All right, Kyle. Well, thank you very much for talking with us once again. Congrats on your win. And we'll try to get some results up for you guys real quickly here and kind of just go through them real quick and try to get this. Okay, well, from the production deck, we don't have results, but they are at the bottom of the screen for you guys to look forward to. But either way, that is all we have for you guys tonight. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up real quick. Let's get a quick shout out to OCR TV for the graphics package and SimTV for the camera package that we allow you guys to see all the stuff that you see. All the viewers in the chat, or the viewers that watch us live and after the fact. It's about you. We wouldn't be doing this, but either way, I'm Cameron Rich, and that's Carlos Costa who was with me tonight. So from us here at 3WAD TV, we bid you all a good night and stay safe if you go out.